Alright, so viewers, fans, and subscribers all the same, welcome to Chapter 12 here in the Space Bridge. Here on the beautiful return night of Real Fire Legion. This is the host, the Rodimus Primes, like you already know, the Jam. Join with me tonight is my next guest here on the Space Bridge, and one of my closest companions and friends across the competitive realm of the fighting game community, and one of my fellow teammates. I want to introduce you to Lucky Neagi.
What is good, people? How's it going?
Neagi, what's been
I'm
going
doing
on?
all right.
What's the haps for the week?
A lot of shit has happened. A lot of shit has happened. I can pretty much tell you that along the way, especially when PCF has been for pretty much been the usual, as was getting constant top ace, as was on when it comes to the big game, possibly a WNF. And I've been trying to keep myself afloat. It's not really was an easy task, but when it comes to trying to play the hand that you're pretty much being dealt with, that's pretty much the best thing I could basically do.
I can see, and you've really done a lot of strong upkeep for yourself, Neagi. It's really inspirational.
But then again, it is indeed the first time people have ever heard my voice when it comes to podcasts, so it's pretty much the first time.
I could have swore people have heard you before. Well, not on a podcast, but back in the old days of the Eclipse.
Podcast wise, yes, it's the first time, but there's a reason that I always keep my voice like muted. It literally in the goddamn the first place, because I keep myself behind the scenes. That's kind of just my thing.
You do be a workhorse behind the scenes. I ain't gonna hold you. You let your work do the talking rather than you.
Yes, indeed.
So let's hop right on into it. So, what is your origin to the fighting game community? Before we go into Blaze Blue, what was your origin in the fighting games in general? What got you started?
Well, that's kind of a complicated thing because people are trying to find data on me before I make a name for myself, and the end result came from like little to like empty. As that's because that's pretty much it. Only me and me alone actually reveals that has that key to revealing everything. But what drove me, like, what fueled me as like a competitor? Well, it's kind of I just basically want to put my name literally out there and make a name for myself. It really wasn't easy, but I was just a mere jobber basically just going 0-2 in every tournament. And now years later, I became one of the dark horses that just keeps on going in the top eight and easily get overlooked by many TOs, such as Master Chief, uh, Running Hands, and even goddamn Midori. They still overlook me, still literally to this day. And I still don't understand why the reason they actually do that in the first place. But then again, if it's their chances like this just to make me suffer, well, I've already suffered enough when it comes to tag because it's pretty much a jank ass game. But I pretty much still enjoy it.
Okay, okay. What drove you into competitive Blaze Blue? Like, still just that same prerogative, or was there anything else with Blaze like
There's
that drove you to that game specifically for comp?
there's more to it than just Blaze Blue, like competitively. I really haven't been involved with like the online FGC wise because I've been mainly at just trying to get myself sorted out back in 2019, and cross tag battle was just on the horizon. It was just a surprise that I even wanted to literally get into the game in the first place. But before tag, it was mainly Street Fighter and Tekken. Literally mainly Street Fighter 5 and Tekken 7. That was it. And surprisingly, I literally got into a lot of competition on those two games. But when it comes to tag, as soon as I picked up the game, I was new to the game. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and the rest was history. And what really drove me into competing was just watching old footage and tournaments from back in 2019 and 2018. So this was during that time I was at Job Corps at the time, and I really wanted to get really involved into the community, but everyone know what happened in 2020, and that's when pretty much when COVID hit. So everyone was just in lockdown. Tournaments went from offline to online, and I never knew about the Big Eight at the time. So it was just, I was trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do if there isn't any tournaments that pretty much involves plays we cross or pretty much a cross tag battle.
Okay, I got you. I'm not gonna lie, COVID put a lot of games in perspective, from their offline to their online, their communities, their and a lot of their general like structures for the ecosystem. It tested the waters of a lot of things with people, events, the game itself. That generation of games that inspired the next generation to kind of improve upon the systemics of its online integrations. And then the people's mindset shifts between like incorporating online and offlines together. That at that time before COVID, it was a misconcept to really think about online as something significant until you give it significance. But it was
But
just a
it
feature that was
also
there.
but it also depends on it mainly depends on the person that's literally running these tournaments as a whole. And that is something that people just tend to don't realize. Whether or not they're well known or known, it mainly depends on the person running that tournament as a whole.
Okay, well, yeah, there are in some instances, I'm not gonna lie, yes, the TO does play just as big of a role as the event itself, or as the players. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their event, so I mean, they do have to take accountability for whatever it is that may or may not happen. And that was before rollback brain. That was before rollback was like a genuinely integrated thing for next generation fighting games. During that time, you basically just kind of roll the gamble as it is between being wired naturally and then Wi-Fi warriors or your ping abusers and everything in between that would work during those net play bracket times.
Well,
Stuff then that people nowadays probably don't even have never even heard of.
little did we even know was that rollback was pretty much like it was slowing into it slowly became a thing with I believe it was hold on I believe hold on a sec. GGPO.
Hmm.
Hold on a sec. Son of a fucking bitch. When it comes to rollback. Da, 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 da. So basically rollback became under pretty much became under the radar, and I'm just quite surprised that it became under the radar until around around 2020-ish when COVID hit, and that's pretty much when rollback became a necessity. It was mandatory for almost every single fighting game to literally have.
Yeah.
Delay, not gonna lie, delay based was pretty much the default thing, but can you really blame developers and publishers of not using rollback when when it just flew when it literally flew under the radar? Can you really blame them? Not really.
No, not really. Like I said, it was a whole different time. It was a time when playing online was a secondary thing. It wasn't a mandatory or a primary thing. So the online was going to be how exactly as it was presented. I'm not going to fault them for that decision. That was a general launch years before a national health issue happened that focused that point. That one small point that wasn't relevant until now. I'm not going to fault them for that. It wouldn't be fair to them. How?
See,
Next question. For the games that you take an interest into, uh, how do you feel about some of them being a Discord game and a lot of the separate communities that they may house?
that's pretty much a literal. It's a question that's been commonly been asked when it comes to certain games out that literally out there that it's literally on life support. It's literal on life support. Blaze with Cross Tag Battle is literally one of the most prime examples of it because the last major update we've ever gotten was back in 2019.
That
But
was the
a lot of data, mine shows that there was going to be more characters, but never pretty much a flown.
right.
So we just pretty much got stuck with a 2.0 patch that literally just got released in 2019, and it's been almost 6 years later. And we're just stuck with that patch until rollback came around back in what 2022 ish.
Um. Yeah, that was when I started this shit. Yeah, that was early to mid 2022 because it was announced at the Evo before that Blaze
So
Blue,
yeah,
Central Fiction, and Cross Tag was getting it. It's just that Central Fiction didn't get it for the console; they got it for the PC. Yeah, it was about that
yeah,
same year.
yeah. A lot, a lot of people were distraught of the PS4 not getting rollback. But what people don't realize, or they do realize, is that Blaze with Central Fiction was indeed a crossplay game, but you had to be either on PS3 or on PS4. So
That crossplay, the old school crossplay.
so so in other words, in order for rollback to work on PS4, they would literally have to remove Central Fiction altogether and make it separate, which it'll take a lot of time for a game that was released back in 2016. And as for tag, there was a lot of there was a lot of implications, a lot of surprises that rollback became a norm when it comes to tag. And as soon as rollback got added in, a lot of shit happened. There were a lot of characters that benefited from goddamn rollback, and there were a lot of characters that got gutted from a rollback because it became one of those secret patches that people don't want to that people don't talk about. That a character is basically a flip of a coin. One, you benefited from goddamn rollback, and the other one, well then, get fucked.
That's essentially that's essentially the trade-offs of rollback. Because there are some characters, yeah, like you said, that just are on the opposite end of that because they have a good sense of fuckery because of what net play can enable them to do compared to rollback, where you don't really have that nice little loophole of net play convenience anymore. And others, they can only function on good frames, which allow you optimization and precision of your routes and deadlier combos and constructive games to team building and stuff, or character application, whatever the game may be. Some characters abuse net play, some characters abuse rollback. Some characters even have their truest potential applied on rollback. I don't know the execution ceiling for like a game like Blaze Blue or Central Fiction per se, so I wouldn't know what characters really benefited from the rollback patch, but I imagine it was probably a good handful of them.
And what's more funny about kind of to find the video that DonCon made, that he literally said that the characters that got worse when rollback came here. Yeah, 2 of them actually won Big 8 with goddamn with rollback, I believe so. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Monkey Smile, I believe, also won the Iacon with Gordo as well.
That he did.
And the funny part, rollback happened.
That made him better or worse? Well, actually, let's take a look at let's take a look at the video here. Let's take a look at old DonCon. Props to DonCon actually for making a good video back here in the day, back in the dawn of rollback. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at this real quick.
Five characters got better.
Here's
5 that got worse.
There's about 3
Coming in at number 5, this poor bugger right here, Kanji. However you want to enunciate it, I think rollback made him worse. Now, I did say that defensive hard read based characters in the other video got kind of a buff just because the connection lets you get what you're trying to do and rewarded from said hard read, but I mean, a lot of his games, tick throws, setups, tricks, and resets, and everybody can see that better now, too, so that plummets him tied for the bottom. He's already at the bottom, now he's bottomer. Kanji number 5. I really don't want to stomp on the whole Gordo trend or the Gordo meme. We're seeing a lot more people playing Gordo here and there, just having fun with them and stuff like that, but Gordo, I had him bottom 1 on my tier list that you'd probably see here. But, yeah, he just got worse. Like, same thing as Kanji, really. His buttons already suck and everything, and now you can see it coming a lot better. That didn't do Gord any favors. It kind of takes the online bullshit equation, the online bullshit factor, however we want to say it. That's one of the things that he can kind of excel at, but, taking that away, you got worse, buddy. Sorry. Coming at number 3. Susanoo.
Really?
Now, Susanoo didn't plummet. His stock isn't way down. I think his job got a little bit harder with rollback. He's still a super strong character. He's still very good. I don't want to say that he's not. It's just that, again, similar to Kanji, right? Like, he has, like, a lot of DP baits, throw baits, tick throws, stubby buttons, stuff like that. And I think the addition of rollback, his meaties ain't quite meaty enough. But besides that, he didn't plummet, but his stock is definitely on the downward slope because of rollback. Susanoo number 3. Coming up at number 4. I said coming in at number 4 here.
I call
That's
cap on
because I can't
Akihiko.
count down from 5 backwards within a 2-minute video without forgetting if I'm going up or down. That's my bad. Coming in at number 2. Man, there's more. Had a couple top tiers in here. So, Akihiko. That swift bastard. I think he got a little worse from rollback. The trick. He's fast and tricky, right? He's not as fast and tricky as Seth. Does have very good damage output and everything. Still, again, very, very strong character. He's not plummeting. His position on the tier list doesn't change. Again, with the introduction of rollback, it made his job harder, right? Like that I don't think I ever blocked that cross up EX punchy thing once, but I think I can now. I'm gonna test it in the waters, but like that got easier to see in blocks. Like his stuff got easier to react to with rollback, or like, you know what I mean? How many times do you say I reacted to that and still got hit anyways, right? I think some of that is off the table with the addition of rollback, because rollback's gonna roll back that bullshit. So if you really did react, if you're being honest and true and fair to yourself, and your heart of hearts said, hey, I blocked that, you probably did, because even if it's connection sketch, it's gonna roll that shit back. Coming in at number 5, or number 1.
Okay, before we continue looking at the rest of this particular thing here, now the characters that were affected by rollback, that's very interesting that I see this, because all 5 of these characters were actually represented by a person that either won Iacon or came close to winning Iacon. This is a very fascinating revelation. Because Heart, I've seen ran by Sonokun and Wakando. Akihiko.
I almost forgot that Master Chief won an Iacon.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most ironic part. I almost forgot that Master Chief actually won Iacon as well as Big 8.
Mm-hmm. And then because Master Chief was one of those that won it with he won it with a Ragna Akihiko. I think that was against Shark that he won that one with when he completed his streak. And then with what was the other one here? It was Susanoo. The only Susanoo that's ever gotten to grand finals was True Care, Mohican Sky.
But Monkey Smile actually
and
won
then
with Susanoo.
Actually, no, he won it with Goergia. I gotta look back at that, but I want to say it was Gordo Azrael or Gordo Susanoo. One of those two. And then what was the first one he said? And then Kanji, Renix came close. Renix came very close when one of the DQs happened, and then he ran losers bracket all the way to Endgame. That was Sprite Cranberry's debut championship. They went to overtime grand finals reset against Cranberry's Azrael at the time versus Renix's Kanji. Renix almost won Iacon. I gotta give him credit. He could have damn near won it using that same team shell he always plays, which is Ragna Kanji, doing the same shit Kanji does by just doing general spacing. So I find that interesting that debatably speaking, his perspective of the 5 worst characters in the game, all 5 of those characters were actually they
literally won a title.
Yeah, they won a title at one point or another. I call Cap on this because she can still do this anyways. And by the way, chat, when we look at this later on, we're going to laugh because this actually is a really good ratio you can apply to a couple of characters. She just happens to be the best example of it. But that's very fascinating when you start to take a look at that. Now, I'm surprised he didn't go over a list of characters that got buffed. Because there had to have been some characters that would have gotten buffed, because everybody literally has a chance at playtime. Otherwise, the community wouldn't have sought to have a revival of what is it? Those not tier lists, but those tier list based teams where you can put together a whole lot of custom teams and stuff. I really like those.
Dude, are you basically referring to the 2.0 patch or the rollback patch?
I want to say the rollback patch was when a few people that we know had started doing more of those point-based team tournaments. Where you run a tournament based off of characters that are in a specific tier placing in order to avoid people running just top tiers.
And you know for a fact that people, like, if you basically run a whole entire ratio team, like a whole entire ratio tournament, you know for a fact that people would basically exploit it.
There's that one dude that always finds that cheese because it's the cow keeps mooing. It's just where are we gonna make the cheese? Hell, the last ratio tournament I thought was good until some jackass exposed the fact. Oh wait, we could just use Yuzuriha and not Moroku.
Narukami.
Yeah, and Narukami, and then just cheese that shit. That was so scuffed.
And it's basically not only that. You also have a lot of people that literally main teams that is literally under 7 points. So that's another factor.
Basically. Like hell, for the most part, like what? Like look at Mustache Villain. The dude really runs a team of quote unquote low tiers, but is a godlike team. Or what's that other dude?
Bumba.
Yeah, or Bumba Chunga. Dude's monstrous with that team, and again, team of low tiers, quote unquote, chat.
Yeah, low tiers, but with privilege.
Make that make sense. So if you have a low tier with privilege, are you really low tier?
Technically, yes and no.
See?
Number one, you literally have Gens 5A and Toga. Explain to me how is that not privilege?
Wait, come again?
I literally said, explain to me how Gens 5A and Gens Toga are not privilege.
Okay, you got me there.
Because Toga is literally a fast ass super that is still safe. And the only way to be it is either a parry or a Daichi's Atom Smasher. Other than that, there's no other way.
The more you know, chat. Okay. Didn't know that. Wait, why is the count? Oh wait, no. I was gonna say why is the counterplay so limited, but that's that just eluded me that that's the privilege. For a button that's predictable to see, it only has but one or so many answers. Next question. Went down a really good analysis. How do people view you in the scenes? Like, what do you feel your role is in the Blaze Blue community?
If we're talking about like as a whole, I would say it mainly depends on who you ask. Because not everyone's answer is going to be the same. There's some good, there's some bad, but the one thing that they really can't really deny is the fact that I just go out there, put in the work, make a name for myself, and just be pretty much consistent, whether or not they like it or whether or not they like it. There's a lot of people that really hate me for the shit I do, but the one thing that they cannot deny is that I always put in work. Literally, plain and simple. There's a lot of people that literally just don't like me as a whole, which I literally have a lot of receipts for. And not to mention, I literally have a list of people, but I don't want to go into that can of worms because that's another topic for another day. But that's besides the point. The point of it is, if we're talking about in general, I just I really can't say that I'm well liked, and I really can't say that I'm well hated. But as far as people in general as a whole, I would say a mixed bag.
I respect that. Okay. With the BlazBlue community, have the community leaders done a good job in promoting the game for its future, regardless of however the past may have led it? In your opinion?
Well, just like I said, it depends on who you ask in general when it comes to the game as a whole. There's a lot of people that actually done a very great job on keeping the game alive to just keep it afloat. Not everything is going to be all peaches and cream. That's not a guarantee. You're going to have at least like a few problems, to say the very least.
Yeah.
And even I try to, even with me and the rest of the RFL, just behind the scenes, we try our best to make sure that we keep Crossroad Rose of Fate amongst as like the main tourney, as like the main attraction for our brand. We make sure that Halloween and Void is also a main attraction. Fire Red Fremo, the main attraction. But we're not the only ones. We also have WNF. You also have Rossin Arcade. You also have the Iacon. You also have Paragon, TNS. They each TO is different from the other. They're not going to be the same. But the one thing that they have in common is they are strict. And and analysis on strictness is out of the many, I would say the strictest of them all. In my opinion, I was like, without being biased or anything, I would say, like, truthfully, I may get a lot of heat for it because you should know why. I would say the RFL is pretty much like the strictest of them all because, oh
Fair.
boy, where do I even start?
Well, you gotta have rules in order to
So
have a sense of order, so it's understandable how RFL
and
functions.
and the strictest part is basically the registration and the check-ins part. That is where the silver lining is. At first, we basically had a 30-minute cutoff time of registrations.
Mm-hmm.
And as for the brackets, it takes me about 2 minutes to just rearrange things because at the time we didn't have we really did not have some sort of leaderboard standings. It was just pretty much all over the place and tons of feedback a little later. And we do have indeed a date a database as well as knowing where each person is at the bracket, to say the very least. And that's pretty much where we are. And I still listen to feedback, but the one thing that people literally complain about for Crossroads of Fate is that people did not get a chance to sign up. But we all know that's pretty much a bucket load of cap.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. even I know.
That beautiful
Especially
degen
when
mindset of always signing up at the last second type beat. And Blaze babies, you know who you are. Stop the capping.
And that is why the reason that the early bird gets the worm. As
It
simple
is.
as that.
Literally.
Like, if you basically are complaining about it, then just sign up on time. Or just sign up early. Plain and simple. But we actually had to make that rule change saying that, okay, then if that's the case, well, you got to sign up by 7:55 p.m. Eastern time, or just don't sign up at all. But don't be complaining if you pretty much don't get a chance to sign up on time. It's not my problem.
That's about it. Was there ever a contemplation in order to try and have sign up cut off earlier than an hour ahead of time of bracket set?
What happened?
Was there ever a discussion about closing off brackets earlier in order to cut off the weenies that come in like super duper late?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, gotcha.
Not to my knowledge, but to say the very least, you can ask Taco about that. But other than that, not to my knowledge.
Next question. Depending upon the variety of community leaders, do new players feel that there's a direction with the scene?
Do the new players have a direction?
Do new players that play BB tag, do they feel like there's a direction with the scene or the game?
That part I really can't answer that because I really don't have a definitive answer.
Well, let me be more specific with that. So, because a direction I would think would be in terms of like trying to make the best efforts to close a very blunt skill gap that's just there from generations, which it kind of makes sense because when the game's inactivity because of no rollback at the time, it would understandably lead to a deficit in there being a very large generational skill gap that's there, and that's understandable to a degree. And then when rollback happened, it re-energized that prosperity to potentially do more on the game or more with the game, which we reopen that past issue that is now a very blunt issue with the prosperity of the community's diversity. And that's why I asked, do new players feel like there's a direction with the scene? Because the direction I would assume would be to help new players understand the game as easily as possible, so that way it's easy for them to have fun despite the relenting, unforgiving nature of potentially learning Blaze Blue cross tag sometimes.
There's a lot of well-known players that actually do play the game, and there are a lot of players that really don't play the game anymore. But it really doesn't mean that there isn't tutorials and unwritten rules about the game that 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 the game in general really actually tells you. There's a lot of things that they don't tell you about. And once and once that knowledge literally gets out there, it's literally a flip of a coin. Either they take the knowledge or they don't. If they don't learn from the knowledge, well, that's their problem, not yours.
I do agree with that. The only part that I will contrast to is that yes, it is the person's responsibility if they do have the information that's out there. I go back to the initial person because there is also the way in trying to explain it correctly, or if the person even has a nurturing nature to explain it correctly or clearly without it sounding condescending or coming off in not an insulting manner, but in a discouraging manner. Because there can be nerds that just aren't people person, and when they go to try to explain these things, they don't try to look at it from the new guy's or the newbie's perspective. They just look at it from a totally overheaded perspective or your general comfort area that people won't, that a new person won't relate to, and it may overcomplicate your simplistic explanation. Just those types of details I notice sometimes. Not this game, just this game, but I mean other games when they're trying to, when it's generational based players that are trying to teach newer gen players or show them the ropes or understand better about the characters that they play or take interest in. Okay, so let me keep it moving. Next question. In your opinion, what's the most broken mechanic in the game?
Are you talking about in all fighting games?
No, we're just focusing on BlazBlue predominantly as as the undertone for right now. But what do you think is the most broken mechanic in the game?
Gosh. What the hell? Oh boy. I really can't. I really can't nitpick. With that question. Because if
So,
I say something, I'm look. Because if I say something that is literally that's literally the left field, then a lot of people is going to come after me with goddamn pitchforks.
they let them. Again, this is your perspective and your take that you're comfortable with saying, however which way that it would go. This is your perspective. If somebody else would probably say something different. For me, honestly, if I had to answer that question, it's the fact that a DP is an air unblockable. What kind of horse shit is that? You can't block in the air, but a DP automatically clips you because TE?
Now, it depends on which DP are you basically referring to, because air parries has been pretty much been a thing. Has been a thing,
Yeah.
and literally air DPs has also been a thing as well. Way before tag was even came around. But if I were to nitpick about one thing that's literally broken as hell, I would literally go with the chip damage. The literally the chip damage.
Oh yeah, there is more than one or two characters that have chip. Yeah.
Especially the goddamn where Resonance plays. The chip is literally real.
Okay. Next question. Um. Uh. How many champions or big time players do you feel you've beaten across the brackets in your career?
Oof. It's a good thing I actually have the Google Docs for that one. Good
Why
thing I have.
why did I have this feeling that you had one of those? It's good notes.
Oh, I actually do. You'd be very much surprised.
I just might.
Ten of them. 10.
Ooh, you bested 10 champions. Okay.
And some of them you may be surprised, and there's going to be some people that's going to be surprised by the time you actually post this podcast on your YouTube channel.
Ooh, okay.
You're going to be very surprised. And the most recent one is basically a mystery racer.
Ooh, Mr. Naoto. Okay. That gun
And
game.
there are also the notable ones that may catch you by surprise as well. Mohican is actually a surprising one.
Whoa. That's a good. Well, that's pretty.
Amethyst,
Ooh.
King of Ninjas,
Oh, yeah.
Serene Smile,
Whoa.
Tripoli, Sprite Cranberry.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
I remember the
yeah.
cranberry one. I didn't know you got Triple E. That's good shit.
I'm still not forgiving you for that one, for that shit that they pulled. I'm still not forgiving you for that shit.
But they put you against Triple E and you still overcame the odds?
No, Sprite Cranberry.
Oh,
Tripoli never Tripoli never entered.
no, not any of my events. No, but over at, I'm guessing, RFL or Pockets.
Pockets indeed. Surprisingly, I 3-0'd to Triple E, which was a surprise.
Damn. That's a beautiful list. Was that all of them?
Yeah, there's a few I didn't literally mention, but it's like I said, you was surprised, and they're going to be surprised by looking at your podcast. But the how is basically simple. I just play patient, and that's it.
That'll work. Some people are thrown off guard by patience when a lot of the games and people's general patterns of rushdown literally just say, okay, we're just going to go ape at the right time.
And the most shocking one I literally was surprised of beating was like out of the 10 I was surprised about, I was surprised I'd beaten King of Ninjas. I was surprised about that one. But
It
what
was a beautiful upset.
but what everyone but the one that caught everyone by surprise was me throwing Sprite Cranberry. That pretty much caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah, I hope a lot of people agree with it because they had to have seen that match. Like, to see him just get 3-0'd all of a sudden was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen. Because he hardly he'll go down, but he won't go down on like a clean slate. That's a very rare occurrence. And I gotta give my props when I see it. That's a really beautiful feat and accomplishment. It's a beautiful list. I hope that list does get bigger the more you compete and strive for greatness.
I just hope for a fact that I can basically win a title one day. But as of right now, I still have a long way to go.
You might surprise yourself. Let's see. Let us delve a little deeper. Well, I mean, as much as it is, there's a lot of bliss that goes into these scenes. And there's also times when bliss does not come into these scenes. I mean, have you had your share of beef?
Yeah, now we're getting inside the goddamn lion's den.
Hey, it's all good. Like I said, this is all just a feature in the doodaddles. People will say their piece as you will. The key thing is that you state yours. Do or don't have to drop names. It is up to you. Hell, and honestly, it's a very tranquil community for the most part. So any drama that does ensue in BlazBlue, most people would generally know about it because they just know the troublemaker.
Who doesn't know?
Exactly. But yeah, let me see. What I do want to know about before we delve down in there, or at least however many, I guess, if anything has happened. What is the? I know it's not just you that he's affected, but what is the back? What is the deal with you and rKiller? What's the background story?
Oh,
His name gets around in a number of scenes because when I first mentioned that name in passing, a handful of random people have heard of him. This dude is like some type of legendary troll or some shit.
he's just one of those superiority complex who just has that complex thinking that he's above everybody else. And I pretty much countered him last year.
Just when you
And
first
I
met
just
him.
beat yeah, I just first met him. He was like the best player. And I was like, okay, then put your dukes up. And I beat the living shit out of him. I
Mm.
literally beat the living shit out of him. So hell if I know. Hell if I know if I even knew the aftermath. In which, in a couple days later, all was said and done, I just sent the video of it. He just wanted to try and he basically wanted to try again, and I just pretty much beat the living shit out of him to a point where he thought it was a game. But me personally, I'm just like a broken Xbox. I just really don't play games at all. I just play for keys. I'm being dead serious. And months go rolls by, and he's anonymous from doing dumb shit, and not in a good way. He just he just likes to. He's one of those people that just likes to beat up on goddamn white squares, thinking that, or just people that's weaker than him. He calls himself. He literally says to himself that he has the best teddy in North America, which everybody knows that's pretty much full of shit.
Yeah.
And I pretty much told him that if that's the case, why don't you go fight a mustache villain? And a couple weeks before, oh, I would say like a couple weeks ago, as of this like week, like a couple weeks ago, he did indeed fight mustache villain, and he got his ass kicked. He he literally got put inside of a goddamn blender, and mustache villain just enjoyed it to a point where he just that rKiller just gave up. He just got his ass kicked to
Yeah.
one of the best teddies in literally North America. And
Mm.
the video I sent you was pretty much as of like last year. And one and nope, and also note that he was also streaming this shit as well. So
I had a feeling because he also does keep a late night stream up.
and so I also made a community post on my YouTube channel. I was That's pretty much almost a year ago, and rKiller said on his and if you look at the about me rKiller's Twitch channel before, it literally said this. Yep, I trolled too much, but I can definitely 0-2-0. Side note: I'm not rude or toxic. If you know me, you're just too weak and and uninteresting to care about. Rude as that, if you are boring, go practice. I will gladly verse you anytime you want. And I don't flex wins. I give you. You're too weak to talk. Go practice. Well then, we'll go. So I took and the post. He literally wrote a 12 font thesis statement Times New Roman. He DM'd you about it. And
I remember this.
He literally says, and I quote, "If you lose to me, don't complain. The next day, of course, I got friendly beef with people like Roxanne, Shadow, and Crow, and other people like that. But if you random as fuck talking shit, I'm not going to let you shit talk me if you're worse than me. But I am very humble. If you're better than me, like King of Ninjas or Not Jerry or Alice or E-Class, aka Chatterbox, but I'm not going to talk shit if not some from in-game." Yeah, pretty much points for hypocrisy. So I took that screenshot that King of Ninjas actually sent me, and I basically went done a shoot promo. I literally went a shoot promo on him, and to this very day, I pretty much made him drop his balls. His balls dropped, and I don't know if he actually read it or not, but I could care much less. But as soon as I actually made a video, on him, uh, he he was not too thrilled. He was not too thrilled to see it. So he actually sent me a hate mail. Hold up a sec, which I do have.
Ooh, alright. Alright, VOD links will be in the Endgame VOD for you guys to look at your leisure.
So, bro's butthurt about me sexalling him when he made this video with Hank. Tragic, the D writing as top Shreer. I just lost a ton of brain cells by just watching this. This was back in April 14th of goddamn last year. But in actuality, he did not 6-0 me. To which he did, in fact, watch the video, but he actually made a burner account which goes by name of Dick Sucker Gotta Go. And I'm not kidding.
Damn. That's such a sus name, but why do I believe this?
Fair, because you have to remember, I actually do have YouTube Studio, and I can basically look into the people who commented on my videos.
Right.
And back to the community post, I literally said, and it's pretty much a long statement, which is literally, I'm being dead serious. Kind of ironic that you call yourself the best kind of ironic that you call yourself the strongest and the best BB tag player in lobbies, but don't have the balls to put your money where your fucking mouth is. And every time you lose a match or set, you say, "Help, go practice, I wasn't even trying," or even play a different character, you have no skill. Even the worst part is you send someone to fight your own battles instead of doing things on your own. You the CEO of FLM, but can't pull up when someone punches you up in the ass. What's more funny is you say that they don't fight or play Persona 4 Arena / Ruby characters, but all in months in both April and May of last year, you broke your word and caught in many occasions. 200 points for the whole entire hypocrisy within your testimony. You say you don't flex wins. Yeah, I'm pretty much calling cap on that. You flex people on that A, are new to the game, B, haven't played them, that haven't played the game in months, or C, their square color is lower than yours. Hell, even Rod's square is lower than yours, Arthur, but at least he puts up better fights than than you. And you call yourself Teddy's strongest, but can't step up to Mustache Villain, Chris, or Black Panther. And to quote on the Hurricane, what's up with that? On top of you sending on on top of you ending your stream / rage quitting after a very much humiliating loss and pulling a goddamn Lothar God, like aren't you supposed to adapt after losing a game / set? But yet you went and done like a little bitch on your Twitch stream behind 52 followers and no goddamn affiliate, while more than half of them are trolls clipping your ass and watching you bitch and complain. That's why you have your chat set to followers only. If you were really humbled, you'd be stop talking shit, be a better person, adapt, give people the run back, and quit acting like you're some hotshot because you're not. You're just probably some man child who thinks you're better than everyone. If you really beat everyone in lobbies, then character explain the losses by J Star, Monkey Smile, Cool Master, King of Ninjas, Not Jerry, Water Ninja, and pretty much well-known BB type players. Hell, you pretty much said that you 6-0 me, but the truth is, the score as of right now is 11-0 my favor. The only reason that you don't want those extra 2 losses because everybody knows what happens when a 13-0 happens. So get your head out of your fucking ass. Lastly, no one gives 2 shits about your Teddy stage, especially when I turn that stage into Magrov's No Russian, and I'm not afraid to basically do it again.
The Call of Duty reference, chat.
Not to mention that you sent Kizu, in which you said that he's weaker than you to fight me and did not get the job done. That says something about your management and your group. I was not going to let you start and talking shit and get away with it, especially when you were dodging a first 10 at Rod's Iacon. That was a bitch move, and it's not the first time it ever happened. Netgear gave you the keyword, and all you did was come up with excuses to get out of the set. All you did in the lobby was sat down and doing nothing. If you got time to sit down, watch the stream, and type, you pretty much got time to get up to literally get up off your ass and run the set. Because right now you're ducking many people and hiding behind your call. You could bring your YouTube burner accounts here, but all it's doing is just exposing yourself. So I really wasn't playing any games, and I was being dead serious.
Fair, straightforward statement. And there was a clapback to this on the YouTube or on Twitter, or he just didn't have anything to say about it and just kind of just BS'd another day.
He just BS. He pretty much BS another day. He really didn't say anything because rKiller knew for a fact is that if he brought out another burner account to comment, he knows for a fact that he's going to incriminate himself.
Yeah.
And he also pretty much he thought it was a good idea to goddamn teabag me, and he got his ass kicked. He got his ass kicked to a point where he got karma from it. He got karma. And that video will be sent in the DMs as well.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Reasons. Number one, I know his ass is on Wi-Fi, so why would I even fight him in the first place? If you know for a fact that he's going to lag switch, it's his way to win. And two, I pretty much got nothing to prove. Like, why would I prove something to someone that is literally that has a superiority complex, who thinking that he's above everyone else? What's the point? And three, I gave him chance after chance to literally run the fade, but yet he just don't want to run the face. So what's the point of just keep on going?
And that makes sense.
And now he's just obsessed with me and other people that he just want to fight him. He just wants to embarrass us. And I pretty much told him that you're pretty much the Mariah Carey of tag. You're just obsessed with us.
Yeah, that's pretty clever. Next, I wanted to talk about was Prez Cavalier. How did you and him lead the beef?
Oh man, this was another doozy. That
Granted, he
was just interesting.
Granted, he pisses off everybody, but I'm just curious how he reverts back to, or he defaults back to more or less a lot of the same people.
That's probably when our beef actually even first started. And this was pretty much when I believe I was 2-3 ish at the eclipse. So this was when I was bouncing back from trying to get my 5 wins before I even reached those 5 losses. And just when in mid set, Prez thought it was a good idea to literally teabag me. And I just said, you know what? Time for me to choose violence because you're not going to get away with it. And that's basically what happened. I pretty much beat the living shit out of him, 5-4, and I could care much less about the win. It's about me sending a message. Like, you're not going to teabag and literally get away with it.
Respectable.
And what's more ironic is that he literally wanted another set against me, so I obliged. And the end result was just the same. Prez got his ass kicked. Prez Cavalier got his fucking ass kicked. And I handed him, from what I know, from what I believe, that Salfantes actually had a spreadsheet, is that not only that that was my 4th win at the time, but that was actually Prez's fifth loss.
Good stuff.
So I eventually made the video and it's posted both on my Twitter and my on my YouTube channel. And Prez was not happy about me posting that video on goddamn Twitter. He literally, his sentence literally made me just wanna lose a whole lot of brain cells. Because as soon as I actually read it, I was like, what the hell? Dies of mid.
All right. And chat, the video for that match will also be featured in the section below when we get there.
Second.
Because I do remember that. I do remember that on the channel. That was a nice set too. Like, win or loss, that was a pretty damn good set. Surprised he just didn't see the silver lining of it unless he won it.
The aftermath was just Prez actually accused me of lag switching, but I shut his ass down. And I told him that I'm not afraid to show it to everyone in the server. I'm not because I'm not afraid to show it. like, if you basically want to go that route, then we can basically go that route. And as soon as I actually post my system with the LAN cable, I was planning on threatening press to show everyone his system as well. But everybody knows that he won't. That he basically won't do it, because everyone knows that he's on Wi-Fi. And our beef really just almost died out until at the gauntlet last year, that he pretty much opened his mouth. He literally opened his mouth and pretty much talked to King of Ninjas about saying that he would actually beat me. So King of Ninjas literally said, "All right, so if I'm wrong, why haven't I seen you fight Lucky? Is he right about you ducking because you're scared?" That is a genuine question. Prez said, "Nah, Lucky posts me downgrade players lost to Lucky because I teabag and everyone else do it. They post everything on YouTube or X for clout. But in truth, I really don't. There were good players only in tag." And King of Ninjas literally asked, "So you're saying Lucky is trash and that you can beat him? Is that what I'm getting?" And Press said, "Well, yeah, I can beat him, but need to chill on the media. His performance always be the same." Well, oh man.
That's a mouthful to think about right there. And the sad part is that that's exactly how I know he would write it.
And after the Big 8, me and Prez actually had a beef set, and I beat it, and I whooped his ass.
Oh, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. That was on DonCon's channel.
Yep.
I remember.
And the VOD is also on DonCon's channel, YouTube wise.
Ooh, all right.
And the aftermath, I literally said, and I also said to Prez, just remember what you said to me on this screenshot, and basically remember this set. You should never act out of desperation. You've lost before you begin, when you fail to find options. Also, word of advice: get a LAN cable. And Prez said, "Shut the fuck up, Lucky. You the only one who's still stuck on PS4 and LAN cable and manipulate me and everyone else on my friends." Dude, I don't like. Do you ever? Okay, question, Rod. Have you ever seen me or do anything to literally manipulate people, like, in general?
No. I remember parts of that sentence. That's how I know that's just an excuse. But it's not even like it's a game thing. It is a you thing with him. It's on Blaze Blue where he might lag. It's on a Melty Blood where he might lag. It's on a Eunice where he might lag. It's on Power Rangers or whatever other games he be playing where he may have occasional lag. I'm sorry, it's him. You just have crappy net, or you don't have a good Ethernet cable. It's just trash. And the sad part about it is the constant reflection of accountability. No, not reflection, deflection of accountability. Because you just don't try and do better with it. You just kind of let the heat die down until you start yapping again.
So yeah, I was like, somebody, like, it really wasn't only a win, but it was me literally sending a message.
Yeah.
And Prez, and from what I know, like, recently, Prez is just pretty much starting shit with a guy named Zuuna.
Yes, Enderman.
And this was about
It's been a
about
couple
a
of years
month
or so.
ago.
That was
And
building for a
this,
while. I'm not gonna lie. I know which one. Not to cut you off, but that one was building for many months, damn near a year back when a beautiful little jackass once upon a time roamed in the community. Was when that stuff started happening.
oh, don't get me started on you and Zuuna telling me that Prez actually dodged a money match against Zuuna. I was like, are you serious?
Yep.
Are you really serious that he actually dodged a money match?
Wasn't even that much too. It was just the principle.
That just really says something. And speaking of Zuuna, yeah. Oh, me and Zuuna actually had a rivalry at one point, and he been kicking my ass. Not gonna lie, but as time gone by, the roles were just reversed.
Okay, fair enough.
And I will never forget on what he actually said that he actually posted shit on goddamn Twitter. He pretty much said to me is that, well, he literally said on Twitter that pretty much back in so yeah, it was back in the last year on July 7th that Zuna literally said that this time I'm beating a Lucky's ass. Motherfucker keep pretty much keep getting away with this. And when was it said and done, I kicked his ass the next time we actually bump into each other in a bracket.
All right.
And that was back in December of 2024. And I literally showed him the screenshot. It's pretty much a sign of you should have kept your mouth shut.
Damn, you must have been robbing him pretty good in order for him to get that mad.
I'm like, just keep your mouth shut. You really wouldn't be. You wouldn't if you would have kept your mouth shut, you really wouldn't even be in this mess. You saw what happened with Prez. What makes you think that it won't happen to you?
That's always the deciding factor. You think it won't happen to you, but it just might if you're not careful enough.
Sounds about right.
Do you think you can't be humbled? That's usually when it might happen. You just haven't met the wrong one yet. Ah, yes, chat, I recall. That Noel God. That fraud. That little clone of low tier God. I talk about Valkyrie and Sora.
Oh man. As of this recording, Bryant fucking Williams. Born and currently living in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Damn, that's a ways out there.
I have receipts.
Oh, no. Weirdly enough, he is. Okay. Oh, wait, I think I know what server he's in. Proceed.
Claims to claims claims to be the best goddamn.
Excuse me, chat. I am trying to think of where that was last at. It's not in any of the main chats, it's in an off-brand chat.
Oh man. So yeah, Bryant Williams from goddamn Chesapeake, Virginia, went to Indian River High School. Really says something about him.
I mean, he
And I
has a high
believe
school education. Question mark.
and I believe he's what, 27, 28 years old. Born in July 3rd or 10th, 1998.
Oh, it's not the. No, he's up there. Damn, that's even sadder.
Oh, man. And now he's pretty much barred from the Georgia King of Fighters FGC.
How do you get extracted out of that?
Oh, there is a fucking Twitter post.
Ooh, do tell. I am curious. Mind me, chat. I am trying to pull it up on screen. It's just a process because I got to think about what server I was in when I last saw that name in passing.
And he pretty much called out the entire Georgia players. I'm just like, what the actual hell are you even thinking? Why would you think it was a good idea to just say, he just said, so yeah, Bryant, or people that know him as Sora, said, and I quote, "Don't you just love when you ask for someone for something and they just want to be condescending assholes for no reason, then get mad when you actually tell them the truth and call them out on their bullshit? Yeah, hypocrisy, bitch. Advice and information are two different things. And if people won't give the information needed, then simply they can fuck. Then they can fuck right off. Advice isn't necessary when I do when I will do whatever fuck I want. And if you don't like it, then that's on you. Because I will not give a fuck. I guess some people will just enjoy being pieces of shit and ganging up on niggas. Well, whatever they can be on that bullshit if they want to. I'm not going to worry about it. Ain't got shit to do with me. Fucking Georgia ass niggas can stay their dumbasses the fuck over their weak ass seat. High and mighty ass, useless ass niggas. But it is what it is. Only a few of those actually know what they are talking about and actually give decent advice and direction. And I already got what I needed from them more or less. Appreciate them for being actually useful, but I do whatever the fuck I want to do, and I enjoy my stubbornness. I can just improve just fine on my own. So
Yeah, that's a very Sora-esque answer in every way, shape, and form. Excessive cursing, the casual condescension, the stealing
writing,
information and shit. Yeah.
I'm like, why would you think it was a good idea to literally call out every Georgia player that literally plays King of Fighters? Like, why would you think that was exactly a good idea? Like you pretty much calling out the entire state when you're just basically just sitting there on Wi-Fi, has no LAN cable, and is that is pretty much still sitting inside of Chesapeake that's still inside Chesapeake, Virginia. That really says something. And don't get me started on the entire don't get me started on the entire infamous moments during his stay at the PLS server. Don't get me started on that.
Ah, yes. I tell you, that was an adventure. And a nightmare at the
That,
same time.
but it's pretty much something that we just have to go through it, whether or not we like it. So, pretty much, in other words, Bryant pretty much acted all high and mighty. He pretty much thought that he was the guy, but somebody had to knock him down a notch. He pretty much dug J-Star out of a money match. I believe so. He also dug J-Star in a first 10 just to go play Elden Ring.
I remember that. I also ducked
He
Weave for
also-
similar things.
Oh, speaking of that, he also ducked both Weave and Moxley, which pissed a lot of people off. And this was pretty much during when you were streaming.
Yeah.
And that was also on Twitter as well. So that really says something. So instead of him going to bed for work, he pretty much joined the raid. Though I don't want to get into that can of worms. And the final nail in the coffin was, I don't know who was the one who actually wanted to I don't know who selected the 5 players for the gauntlet, but many say it was you. Some people say it was pretty much another source. I don't know who it was, but it was Sora versus 5. It was 5 other players.
It was 4 that I remember. I know Taco, Zykoon, Weeb, Mox, and I believe Cheap or Prez, one of those 2. But those were
It
about
wasn't
those
Prez.
5. Oh, then it might have
Hold
been
on a
Cheap
sec.
then.
Hold on, I got that as well.
Oh, you still over there in Pro Legend server?
Yeah.
Oh, more you know. Okay. Alright. Chat, also, the documents here about Sora's banning will also be featured there, so if you guys want to take a look and read that, just like I'm reading this now, you can, based off his allegations for, sexual predator stuff.
They removed it. They removed they actually removed the Blaze Blue channel.
Okay.
Son of a fucking bitch. Hold on 1 second. I believe But anyway, there will be a follow-up video in which that I'll be posting onto my YouTube channel. So that's pretty much going to be soon, but it's going to be about a whole entire hour-long thing. So be prepared for that. But there was actually 5. Yep, 5 people that actually there we go. Accidentally, I could close that Discord. I wasn't trying to. Gotta look at the cat cut to see what the hell was that 5th person. So yeah, there was actually 4, not 5. So yeah, there was 4, not 5.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, it was Taco, Zykoon, Weeb, and Mots.
And Bryant pretty much ducked. He pretty much didn't want to do it.
No. And for context, chat, basically, he had been talking a lot of shit with a lot of different characters, with a lot of different people, and harassing people, and having continual inaccountability of his actions and his words and what he wants to say, think, and believe. And so the owner of Pro Legends, which was the organization that a handful of us were signed to at the time. Neagi was not signed to him. I was signed to Pro Legends at that time, and Sora was signed to him at that time. He put Sora on the burner to be accountable for his actions and fight the battles he needs to fight, otherwise he will be automatically booted from Pro Legends. And I did co-sign on that. He didn't know that at the time, but I actually did co-sign on that because he also needs to be held accountable for his actions and then not just go around bullshitting other people's time and cognizance because of your childish antics. One of those matches he did fight. It was when we first got it was a fiscal what was it? It was a fiscal incentive to it. If he was able to beat one of them, then Pro Legends had also attached what I think $20 or something, or what he earns a specific 25. He earns 25 per win of each person, so that's the incentive of actually fighting the match and winning. That way, if you can back up what you say in beating any of them, then you will get something out of that. But he only fought the one, and then the others they didn't even get the time of day on. The first one that got a shot at him was Zycoon. Zycoon was rusty at first, and then he lost 2, and then brought that back and reverse 5-0'd him. And then he didn't play any of the other sets. And so the ultimatum
pretty
followed.
much the last. Yeah, so basically, the ultimatum, which I also do have. Second. Was literally. So Salfantes actually issued the ultimatum. In regards to Bryant, is that he either apologizes or he has to do a beef set with 3 people, and Bryant pretty much took neither of them, which really wasn't surprising at all. And he pretty much tried to start shit with Salfantes into wanting to do a beef set with him in tag, but the problem was Bryant started shit with him in Injustice. I tried to find a video that was actually on your stream, but I really couldn't find it. So I pretty much got lost in the Twitch archives. I don't know where it's at.
Oh, okay, because I can't remember if they fought on Injustice or whatnot, because I remember that he agreed to fight him on Blaze Blue, and then he also wanted to have the run back on his game, since that's where it started.
From what I can remember is that Salfantes didn't want to fight him in tag because of the fact that, for one, Bryant actually started shit with him in Injustice, so that right there was the silver lining reason, and pretty much for good measure. And from what I can remember is that the two did indeed fight, but actually Bryant actually rage quit. From what I can remember.
Yes.
So yeah, I try to find the clip on your channel, but I try to find it, but no luck.
Damn. Okay.
And people was just very suspicious of Bryant's internet. So I took the initiative to go incognito and realized that he was playing Tekken 7 with Zuuna. So it realized that he was literally on Wi-Fi. So I pretty much screenshotted that and sent it to the PLS server, and the rest was history. Everyone was either shocked or not surprised. And I wasn't sure if you were shocked either by me just like posting his internet connection. I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, he pretty much got banned, and everyone was just relieved. Even I was relieved that he got banned from the team and from the server and was never seen again.
I see. Chat, you can actually just go on here. You can actually find a pretty decent chunk on him out here, despite his inactivity or the banning of his IP. You can actually find a hell of a lot of them out here.
He eventually like resurfaced for some reason, and like I said, he got banned from the KOF Georgia server about last month ish.
Alright, in chat, the Vine here that I'm reading from Cheshire here, I'll go and also post that in the links. That way you guys can also take a look for this particular timestamp here. All the stuff here from the offlines. But chat, it was just a whole looking glass once upon a time that it's a whole red flag of a human being that makes you question how a person really lives with themselves. Is like who this guy was. Or is, whatever his name is, whatever he is, because he is definitely not a human. And he bounces around from community to community, just harassing, discriminating, and trying to groom young girls and young women and shit. It's just outright disgusting and it's appalling.
Stalking as well as sending a death threat to his goddamn ex.
Ah, yes, the Silvervale individual. Or even many more, for all I know. Moving on into the next thing here. Amidst all the controversies that have come and gone, not from you, but that we've been a part of throughout our travels, or that you've been a part of through your travels, people at the center of it, the highs and the lows. What do you feel was a respectably good highlight or something to take away from in your time in BlazBlue or in the fighting game scene?
Like, what is like the most that is considered like a highlight? Like, that is literally a surprise.
Yeah, what would be a highlight for you?
It was actually recent.
Really?
I believe it was like, yeah, it was the podium for the first time. I got to look that up. So yeah, it was at the Big 8 239, where I just somehow, for some reason, managed to reach winners finals for the first time.
Oh wow! It was at which one?
And the Big 8. It was actually the Big 8 239. So basically,
It was uploaded a month ago. Hey, this really wasn't that long ago.
so I knocked off Yukari. I knocked off Young Map to reach a top 8. And what caught everyone by surprise was I knocked off Sprite Cranberry in winner's semi for finals. And this was actually during I actually answered DonCon's question right.
Ooh, what was his question?
So DonCon actually was trying to think about a game that was actually banned that actually got canceled. It was a 3D. It was pretty much a 3D arena fighter that was on the PlayStation. That pretty much got acquired. I believe it was by EA before, and it was a game that was actually rated AO, adults only. So I realized that okay, and the only game that literally came to mind was Thrill Kill. I typed it in, and Don was shocked to see that I actually got the question right.
Damn.
And the whole tournament is also going to be on DonCon's channel.
Yeah, 239.
Yep.
Gotcha. And bits and highlights of what I'm looking at here, chat. That will also be featured there in the link, so that way you are free to check it out at your leisure. It looks like a nice tournament, honestly, for what it is I see here.
Yeah, it was literally a bunch of killers. Can you really blame them?
I can't. That's a good hunting ground where they all go. See a good handful of them here now, between Detective Crow, you, King, Amethyst, a few representatives from Sprite's Corner. If I remember that correctly,
hey,
SCE.
Sprite Corner.
I think that's the name. I can't.
That team's no longer existing.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying that's back when they were alive. That's back when that team was alive. Because a handful of the people that more or less were part of Church's server, they were basically there. Still around too. But again, for what it is I see here in reaching winners finals like you did, that's a really commendable accomplishment, especially for just all the homies that are here, all the homies and the homegirls. Like there's a lot of killers in this bracket, and the fact that you were able to hold your own to reach essentially the highest point of the tournament at one point to get a top 3 spot at the Big 8, that's really good. Like that's a huge polishing point of skill and proficiency, and attention to detail in matchup knowledge and player habits.
The question is, am I able to reach that podium? Well, it's a long shot, I can tell you that.
It may be a long shot, but nothing is impossible. If you had any closing, I guess in closing here, if you have any words of encouragement or inspiration or motivation for players that strive a very similar goal or that also have comparable journeys of adversity, uncertainty, maybe doubt, or lack of opportunity or lack of credibility, maybe. What would you say in order to show them and try to light them the way?
Well, I would, to quote on Japanese proverbs, to fall 7 times and just get up 8. That's the only advice I can basically give you. Just falls to 7 times, get up 8. Just dust yourself off and move forward. Don't make the same mistakes that other people made, because at the end of the day, it's just life. Life can be game changing, but at the same time, it can be unpredictable.
Words to adhere and words to apply both.
It applies. It applies to both.
Yeah. Alright, well, Neagi, I appreciate the chance in having you here tonight and going over your story through the FGC with all the highs and lows and everything that's happened over the last few years, actually.
I just pretty much went from a mere jobber to a well-known player. And the same.
People will give you your credit and your credibility as you continue climbing and striving. Because I see you get top 8s damn near like consistently. So you're definitely getting the credit and the recognition as you go. Because you're being a very powerful, like, shadow boss. That's always literally right there in plain sight. I appreciate having you on here tonight.
Thanks, Ronin.
Alright, chat. For those of you guys that are out here, I'm going to go on ahead here and show you the Twitter here. That way, if you guys want to, you can feel free to follow Lucky Neagi on one of his main sources here, which is here on...
And I'm also active on Twitch as well, so that is also a thing as well. So yeah, I'm mostly active on Twitch, but don't know when I'll be streaming soon, but I'm almost close to 200 followers though.
You are, yeah. You're at 182. In chat, you can help that along if you guys want to go ahead and follow and support Lucky Neagi and his journeys through the online realms. You can make that 182 prosper ever so graciously, you know? While this does conclude today's and tonight's general session for the Space Bridge, tune in next time that I open the bridge back up for the next guest that I have via for this game or anything else that I usually would sit and talk about, and we delve into the further mysteries of the video game, the grids, and the communities. Both the people and a lot of the people's practices equally. This is Rodimus Prime signing off, and like I always say, until all are one.
Take a panorama.